Shanghai is the most developed city in mainland China, but recently some media have been saying that its economy has collapsed as a whole. Some even claim that all Fortune 500 companies have left Shanghai, but the Chinese government claims that foreign capital is returning to Shanghai. So how is Shanghai's economy really doing? In this episode, we will examine this issue using numbers. Foreign investment and companies are an important window into China's economic activities. In the following video, the filming date isn't known, but it's presumed to be a scene from 2 or 3 months ago. One can see a dramatic change in a port in Shanghai. Now it's so easy to enter the warehouse like this Shanghai port. Before, you have to tip and wait in line. Now that scene is over. There are no vehicles in the warehouse. Look, there are only 3 of my vehicles here to unload. The service is especially good. Shanghai's foreign trade has really cooled down. The empty containers have stacked up to the city of Taishan. Look at the bonded area and Luqiao port. Empty containers are piling up like a mountain. It's sad. Factories in Jiangsu Province, Zhejiang Province, and Shanghai are all asking where the orders have gone. Oh my gosh, I can't work in this transportation industry any longer. There is no work. The warehouse has no work either. No more lining up to get into the warehouse. Comrades, we are all truck drivers. We no longer need to line up to enter the warehouse. We can unload when we get here. Unlike before, we have to bribe and offer cigarettes and water. Now, these aren't needed anymore. There is no doubt that pessimism in Shanghai is growing. The zero-COVID policy of the past 3 years and waning confidence in China's economic outlook have prompted Shanghai homeowners and tenants, including foreign nationals, to pack up and leave or are in the process of doing so. In addition to economic factors, one American who declined to give his last name told AFP that the mood in Shanghai has changed. According to the Chinese government, the origin of the new coronavirus came from the US. He stated that when he took the subway or bus in Shanghai, people avoided him and some Shanghainese would cover their mouths and noses when they saw him. This American has also chosen to leave Shanghai. China's newly revised anti-espionage law will come into effect on July 1st, 2023, making foreign nationals even more apprehensive. The new anti-espionage law expands the scope of the law to include any matter that the authorities deem as a matter of national security, while increasing the government's powers to search, seize, and impose bans on the entry and exit of individuals. Some self-media outlets have concluded that all Fortune 500 companies have left Shanghai based on this video. Shanghai rents have plummeted. I know it even when I don't work in the leasing business. I know the reason. It's because foreigners are gone. Previously, on Yongkong Road, it was full of foreigners. The road was packed. I tell you, previously you couldn't walk here. It was all foreigners, all foreigners. Now they are all gone. It's all Chinese now. Foreigners have all left. In the past, if you look at those neighborhoods in the Mingyue World City, the apartments for rent in these neighborhoods range from 10,000 to 50,000 yuan or 1,400 to 7,000 US dollars a month. Those who rent them were all foreigners who worked in the world's top 500 companies. The companies paid for these units. They have deep pockets. Now the employees are gone. When they are gone, these apartments become vacant. So many are vacant. There is no new demand. Without new tenants coming, the vacancy can't be filled. Based on a review of the mentioned area in Shanghai, it describes an older neighborhood in Shanghai that used to have bars. When some bars moved out, the number of people on the street decreased in comparison. By 2022, Shanghai had a quarter of China's foreign population. According to the latest census published in 2021, it had 164,000 foreign residents in 2020. After Shanghai's lockdown in 2022, there has been a mass exodus of foreigners. It's true that foreign companies in Shanghai have been laying off staff going into 2023, and some have even moved out as a whole, but to say that they have all left is a bit of a stretch. There is no such thing, only that there has been an obvious reduction in staff and layoffs. It has made residential real estate weak and retail stores depressed. Many commercial tenants have moved out of office buildings and sought cheaper places to continue their operations. According to the information we reviewed, the decline in rents in Shanghai is about 1.2 to 1.5 times the decline in real estate prices. The selling price of homes in Shanghai has fallen by roughly 25%, and rents have fallen by between 35 and 45%. The magnitude of change varies in different parts of Shanghai. The above data also corroborates with a report from the European Chamber of Commerce in Shanghai in early 2023. This report shows that about 25% of Germans living in Shanghai have left, while a number of French and Italian citizens registered with the Shanghai government has dropped by 20% respectively. The European Union Chamber of Commerce in China released its Shanghai recommendation for 2023-24 on February 14, 2023. The survey report shows that multinational companies are no longer confident to set up headquarters in Shanghai. Only 12% of European companies are willing to set up Asia-Pacific headquarters in Shanghai, and 500 Chinese companies have relocated to other countries to set up headquarters due to the operational disruptions caused by Shanghai's lockdown and dynamic COVID-0 policy in 2022. Bloomberg's report verified this percentage. According to a local real estate agent surnamed Leo, who declined to be named, residential real estate in Shanghai's downtown Lianyang district, where foreign nationals and financiers congregate, have fallen 15 to 20% from their record highs in mid-2021. The property prices in Shanghai have really dropped dramatically, especially those old, run-down small homes. I posted a video earlier about the way I used to sell my home. At that time, I contacted all the agents in my area, added more than 100 agents into a WeChat group I built, and sent red packets in it every day, hoping to lighten the atmosphere and impress them with my property. At first, I promised a reward. I promised an Apple phone for anyone who helped me sell the home as an incentive. At that time, the agents really brought a lot of people to see the home. Then I got impatient and made a direct offer of 50,000 yuan, that is $7,000 US, for anyone who could sell my home. I was able to sell quickly using this method. Today, a friend approached me about his home in Putuo district. He said for homes demolished in that area where his home was, one could receive compensation of 4 to 3.8 million yuan. But now his home has been listed for more than 6 months but hasn't been sold. He told me that the listing price dropped from 1.8 million to 1.5 million. Still, it's not sold yet. I sense that he's becoming somewhat self-conscious about selling his home. He is always thinking about what decorations to use in the home to make it more appealing. I just want to say that nothing will work except a price cut. At this moment, we only have limited access to data about Shanghai's economy, but based on which we offer you our observations and insights. For example, a reading of data from China's Ministry of Commerce reveals a thriving landscape. The actual use of foreign direct investment (FDI) in China reached a record high of $189.1 billion in 2022, with a year-on-year growth rate of 8%, second only to 2012 and higher than any other year since statistics have been available. But the official data from the China Foreign Exchange Administration paints a very different picture. FDI in China was $190.3 billion in 2022, significantly lower than the $334 billion in 2021 and the $253.1 billion in 2020. By this data, foreign direct investment in China dropped by 43% in 2022. The two agencies have different criteria for compiling statistics, but statistics from the China Foreign Exchange Administration are more closely aligned with the prevailing international criteria when it comes to balance of payments. In addition, foreign companies seem to be worried about their profits in China. Data from China's Bureau of Statistics shows that from January to February, the total profits of industrial enterprises above the scale in the mainland fell sharply by 22.9% year-on-year. Among them, foreign and Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan invested enterprises fell by 35.7%, the largest decline. The American Chamber of Commerce in China, or AmCham China, recently released its 2023 annual business survey of Chinese companies in the US, which showed that 49% of member companies believe they are more unpopular in China compared to the previous year, and in the consumer sector, the percentage is even higher at 56%. Voice of America reports that Michael Hart, president of AmCham China, said at a press conference on March 1, 2023, that most U.S. companies have begun to invest in alternative production lines in other countries to diversify their risk, based on the fact that their supply chains in China have been disrupted at times by the epidemic and lockdowns. Apple is one of them. In the fiscal year 2022, the 12 months to the end of September 2022, Apple tripled the scale of assembly in India to an annual production value of $7 billion. This year, it even opened its first store in Mumbai, India. Apple currently produces 7% of its iPhones in India, yet in fiscal year 2021, India's iPhone production accounted for only about 1% of the company's global production. More foreign companies like Apple are adopting a One Plus China strategy to prevent potential technology bans and tariff barriers. Geopolitical risks, force majeure like the new coronavirus, and the Chinese government's attitude toward foreign investment have forced foreign investors to consider how to avoid these risks, even if they have to incur more costs. Surely, the main body of Apple's iPhone assembly is still in China. To say that Apple is pulled out of China is misinformation. After all, China's status as the world's factory has been tempered over the years, with a sophisticated industrial chain and a well-developed infrastructure that makes it difficult for it to be replaced by other countries. On the other hand, when Tesla's owner Musk visited China, he was treated superbly by senior officials of CCP leader Xi Jinping. He seemed to believe that these officials said that China is back in business. He has decided to invest massively in the Chinese market. This means that there are very big differences in the understanding of the Chinese market among Western business people. Research firm Rhodium recently released a report saying that EU investment in China, a key trading partner of China, has fallen for 3 years in a row from $10.42 billion in 2018 to $6.3 billion in 2021. The top 9 EU countries plus large companies from the UK accounted for 70 to 88% of the EU's total investment in China. The top 4 German companies, Volkswagen, BMW, and Daimler, as well as chemical giant BASF, accounted for more than 30% of the EU's total investment in China. The current attitude of foreign investors towards China can be summarized as follows. Small and medium-sized enterprises have been affected by the epidemic, and many have exited China. Large corporations still see China as an important strategic market. However, they are facing fiercer local competition, rising nationalism, and risks arising from geopolitical tensions. All in all, Shanghai's economy is in decline, and it's part of the overall recession in China. China's economy is likely to regress by 20 years, but it should not collapse or be over as some have claimed. Perhaps it's disappointing for some audiences who are eagerly awaiting the fall of the CCP. We believe that our audience appreciates real and useful information, so our channel will report as factually as we can. We are confident, though, that the CCP would eventually fall under various crises and pressures. It's probably a matter of time. Its demise won't necessarily be based on the economic collapse. In fact, we hope that the Chinese people won't have to suffer too much economic hardship. As we previously reported, Shanghai ranked first nationally in the number of businesses written off, with 216,000 microenterprises disappearing in 2022.
Take a look at the Qibao area of Shanghai. It was once one of the most prosperous parts of the city. This is the Shunfeng International Plaza, the Shunfeng Food Court. Let's go in and take a look. There is a convenience store at the entrance, and now it's looking to lease the storefront. How many vacant stores are there? They're all vacant. This one is doing takeout business. The elevator is still running. It's so empty that it's scary. How many stores are vacant on the entire second floor? This used to be a place for education and training businesses. It should still be open. But I can hear my echo when talking. There's still one or two businesses open here, but most are closed.
小朋友在这里说话只能听到我自己的回音，这个还开着。教培类的商铺大概还活着有1、2家吧，其他大部分都是关门的，没有一个人。反倒是这种小的夜摊还存活着，这种小夜摊小摊对，是海德、家乐福也全部关门了。再往后那里是巴黎春天百货也关掉了，基本上还有印象。
The exact date of the video is unknown, but what the speaker said suggests that it's from this year, after the Communist Party claimed the outbreak was over. Now officials are trying to bring back the enthusiasm of private entrepreneurs. We are determined to tear down invisible barriers against private investment to ensure that private investors can equally access and invest in industries that are not on the negative list. We encourage them to participate in the 102 national-level major projects and Shanghai's major projects in the 14th five-year plan period from 2021 to 2025, and they will be treated equally when they bid for the design, construction, supply of raw materials, facilities, and equipment in the major projects. On April 6, 2023, Shanghai launched a new round of policies to attract investment. In particular, a maximum reward of 100 million yuan or $14 million is offered for the introduction of major investment projects. On June 8th, the opening meeting of the 14th Lujiazui Forum was held at the Shanghai Tower. The theme of this year's forum was Global Openness and Cooperation in Finance, a new driving force to guide economic recovery. What do we make of these official efforts? First, the CCP's policies are unstable, and promises made today can be overturned tomorrow. Second, if the Chinese government wants to save the economy, it must improve its foreign relations in order to stabilize the confidence of foreign investors. However, China's relations with the US and its allies hasn't shown signs of improvement, and in some cases have deteriorated. Therefore, the situation of Shanghai and China's economy, especially its relations with foreign investors, isn't going to be good. Speaking of Shanghai real estate, another recent phenomena is a sudden surge in the listed luxury properties. Here are the figures from the Chinese real estate website lianjia.com. A luxury residential area called World Trade Center Riverside Garden has 235 luxury homes listed for sale, the highest in 8 years, while this mega waterfront luxury area, known as the tallest building in Asia, only had 83 homes listed for sale last year. In addition, another building that's considered a trendsetter for luxury properties in Shanghai has 135 units listed for sale, and Sunac One Riverside, a top luxury property located on the Huangpu River, has nearly 50 units listed for sale, and its recent transaction value has exceeded RMB 100 million. After the wave of luxury properties cashing out 8 years ago, Shanghai has once again seen a large number of luxury properties listed for sale. Earlier, the Chinese media Economic Observer reported on May 15th that there was a surge in the sale of luxury properties in Shanghai. According to the report, Suihu Tiandi, located in the core area of Huangpu District, has been a hot project in Shanghai's luxury property market in the past, and is regarded by many agents as the anchor of Shanghai's luxury properties. However, since March this year, the number of listings for sale in this property has increased, and by mid-May, the listing rate of luxury properties in the area exceeded 7%. The real estate market has been in a slump for 2 years. Why are Shanghai's wealthy listing their properties now? In addition to the rich fleeing Shanghai who are eager to get rid of their properties, there is another reason. In late April 2023, the Chinese government announced that it would fully implement the universal registration of real estate properties. For the rich who may have more than one property on hand, in addition to higher financing costs, their assets would virtually be exposed. The introduction of a real estate tax and estate tax in China will definitely affect their estate planning and asset allocation. The wealthy in Shanghai may have sensed a potential crisis and wanted to cash out quickly and pocket the money to be safe. For them, the full implementation of real estate registration means a slew of consequences such as exposure of personal assets, higher borrowing costs, and impact on mortgage and estate planning, etc. For decades, Chinese homeowners have considered real estate to be a reliable haven for wealth. Now the question becomes where the capital would go after tycoons of Shanghai sold their luxury properties. Have they found an alternative investment, or are they racking their brains on how to move their assets overseas?